Hey folks, I have been thinking a lot about what to do about the pacing of this class. One thing that I've thought for a long time now about all kinds of stuff, businesses, products, is that one size fits all just fits everybody pretty poorly. And some of you need a slower pace, and some of you really probably need to be pushed at a faster pace. And so I've been in a dilemma about exactly what to do about to meet how to meet everybody's needs. So, anyways, I'm going to talk to you about some thoughts that I've had that I put together for where I'd like to go from here. So, first consideration. For those of you that are working ahead, I want you to have the freedom to go way ahead. Some of the most basic aspects of computer programming involve looping and dealing with strings, and those topics are way down the road in the CMU Academy. This quarter ends in 3 weeks, and by the end of the quarter, I'd like the folks that are working ahead to finish Unit 6. That's my goal. Now, that's a lofty goal because the people that are the furthest ahead right now are only in Unit 4. So, how are we going to do this? I have some thoughts, and you have some options. One option is just read the notes and complete the checkpoints. That would allow you to move more quickly through the sections and get further ahead in the course. However, some of you might not like that. Some of you might kind of like taking the time to stop and smell the roses and actually savor the experience and maybe even get to understand the notes and the checkpoints a little bit better through exercises. So, you certainly have the option to read the notes and complete the checkpoints. But I'd like you to think about the idea of doing as few exercises as you like along the way. In other words, I don't want you to feel some obligation to do a certain number of exercises to get a certain number of points when you're way ahead anyways. I'd like you to have the freedom to get to the more advanced topics if you feel that you're ready for them. You can always, if you run into a brick wall, you can always take a step back and then try a few exercises and make sure you really understand the material. On the other hand, some of you know for sure that you'd like to savor the experience and you really like doing the exercises, and you are welcome to do as many exercises as you like along the way. I'm just saying you have options. What about grades? Some of you might be concerned about, well, what's going to happen with my grade? Well, as far as grades go, I am only going to enter grades for what most students have completed. Now, I'm not going to wait for everybody. I have expectations that after most students have gotten to a certain point that we are all moving on. And for those of you that move a bit slower, I truly expect you to put in more time outside of class and to ask me for more help as needed. But for those of you that are zooming ahead, I'm sorry. For those of you that are not zooming ahead, I do not expect you to make it to Unit 6 in the next 3 weeks. It's just almost impossible. But so you don't get burned on your grade, I'm only going to enter grades for what most students have completed, and that should ensure that most of you get a grade that you'll be happy with. And for those of you that are zooming ahead, I want you to just keep moving, and with the confidence and the knowledge that you're going to get a decent grade, and you get to explore, and you get to go further. If the rest of the class starts to catch up, I will give the folks that are ahead ample notice, and I'll ask you to go back and finish some exercises. What about pacing overall? Well, this is let's see. One of the things that I was thinking that in order to accomplish this lofty goal of getting through more of the curriculum, I think maybe I have to stop with my crazy ideas about side projects and distractions. Although I'd love to expose you guys to so many wonderful things, I also think maybe I should just have you focus on getting through CMU. Now, some of you may want to try your own personal side projects along the way. For instance, one of you has already built your own Discord bot, and if you're way ahead and you feel like doing projects like that during class, I think it's okay. And something that I'd like to point out is although I haven't given you necessarily, especially for those of you that are ahead, I haven't given you a ton of direct instruction. I do have a ton of programming experience. And so for those of you that are ahead and you want to try a side project and and you think you might benefit from the assistance of somebody who has experience, by all means, do it in class while I'm there so you can brainstorm thoughts with me about design or troubleshooting, whatever. Oh, and one last thing is that one of the reasons that I've had these thoughts that I wanted to share with you today is because I was looking at the CMU Academy recommended pacing schedule, and I just noticed that there's so much material and there's so many weeks ahead of us, and it kind of made me rethink the current pacing that we're doing. Now, I will point out that the current pacing schedule, the recommended pacing schedule, was designed for a non-block schedule, and certainly not for our current distance learning schedule. I don't know if you realized it, but with our current distance learning schedule, we meet about 2/3 of the number of days in our normal block schedule. Now, some of you might be wondering, well, why is that? Well, because you guys are supposed to, well, how do we get away with that is a better question. Well, you guys are supposed to be doing extra work during the um, the the reinforcement activity time that is built into the schedule. In other words, if you're in an AM cohort, you're supposed to still be doing work during the PM. And if you're in a PM cohort, you're supposed to still be doing work during the AM. And so supposedly that's where the math comes in, that you're getting the same amount of instruction. So anyways, my concern is with the number of days and hours that you and I are meeting. I want you guys to go as far as you possibly can. Now, I put all of these notes into the Canvas module. It's a module actually called Working Ahead, and you can go back and either look at the notes or you can look at this slideshow that I have here. I have a link to that in the Canvas module, and I'll also post this video as a link in the Canvas module if you want to revisit any of the things that I've discussed here. Okay, that's my thoughts. And as always, I am open to input from you. You can communicate with me via Remind or email. I strongly recommend against sending me anything through Canvas. If you try to use the Canvas messaging system, for some strange reason, those go directly to my Learn Gmail, which I rarely check. I mostly only check my at conejousd.org email, and of course Remind. So if you want to communicate with me, if you have concerns about the schedule or if you have suggestions, please contact me via Remind or email. Thank you for your attention today, and let me know if you have any thoughts or questions.